Belief changing. Discover the ultimate step-by-step guide to change belief by Zhang. Introduction. Every human being has their own life script. You and I live our lives based on this life script. The life script we have is based on the belief system we have adopted from the childhood. We can consciously decide to wish or want to achieve something, but if unconsciously there are so many negative thoughts run deep inside our subconscious mind without control, we will never achieve what we want. That's why there are so many people said they want to be rich, they want to be successful, but they could not achieve it. It not because they lack of motivation, it not because they lack of action, it not because they lack of initiative, it not because they lack of discipline, etc. It because there are limiting beliefs that keep sabotaging their motivation, action, initiative, and discipline. Beliefs that are stored in the subconscious mind often control the conscious mind, affect most of decisions they made and most of actions they took. Most of times, the reason why most people succeed and achieve what they want is because conflict between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. And this happens because of limiting belief. The past does equal the future. After you read the title of this chapter, I'm sure you are going to protest and say that the right quote is your past does not equal your future. The meaning of your past does not equal your future is whatever happened in the past, it does and determine your future. But in reality, what really happened is the past does equal the future, or you can see the future by looking at the past. You may ask the psychologist or hypnotherapist. Most of the cases they handled has something to do with the past of their clients. Whatever it's the trauma, phobias, or bad habits, it is the result of the wrong interpretation in the past. So, you could say that almost all of our actions, at this time, influenced by the interpretations or conclusions we made in the past, either a positive or negative. So I can make a conclusion that the future of one person is depend on their past. For the example, there is a person who can speak in public. When asked to speak in front of a crowd, he always feels fear, helplessness, pale, and do not know what to say. Where did he learn such response? Of course, from his past. It turns out that in the past, when he was in grade school, he humiliated in front of the class when asked to read the essay. This traumatic experience makes what he is today. However, we still can change our future. How? The answer is change the past. The past does equal the future, so if we change the past, then we change the future as well. Wait. Why are you suddenly talking about science fiction here? Do we have to build a time machine and go into the past in order to change our past? No, we don't need any time machines. What we need to change is the meaning of our past, not the event. The process of how belief formed begins when we experience an event. After that, the mind will give a meaning to these experiences. The meaning given can be positive, negative, or neutral. And this meaning is always true according to us. Example. There is a man who always experiences financial difficulties. After doing some check about his past, it turns out that when he was a child, he often saw his parent quarrel about the money issues. The mind interpreted or gave the meaning to his experience about the event that money is the source of problems. So he hold a limiting belief about money. If he wants to change his financial condition, he needs to change the meaning of the event in the past about his parent quarrel about the money issues. How to do that? There is one powerful technique that I'm going to teach you later. Conscious mind and subconscious mind. Brain is not only divided by its function, but also by the consciousness, namely the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Please note that it doesn't mean that we have two minds. It has been known widely that the power or influence of the conscious mind in human behavior is 12%. While the subconscious mind is 88%. Thus the strength or power of the subconscious mind is approximately 9 times more powerful than the conscious mind. The conscious mind is active and work when we are in the conscious or waking state. Our subconscious mind never stops working. It is active for 24 hours a day. Even while we sleep, it remains active and doing its job. Conscious mind. To illustrate, the conscious mind is like a gardener and the subconscious mind is a garden. We need to consciously decide and organize our garden to be more beautiful, right? So, without our conscious mind, we will not be able to utilize the power of our subconscious mind. The conscious mind has the ability to think through a situation logically and analyze, evaluate, make decision, and take action. Here are 4 functions of our conscious minds. 1. Identify. 2. Comparison. 3. Analyze. 4. Decide the specific response to the information. The conscious mind starts active when we were 3 years old and runs the logic functions. When we grow up, the conscious mind will help us to not make any changes that are not necessary by filter that called as critical factor. Critical factor will always analyze any incoming information by using the database that exists in the subconscious mind. Subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will accept anything that is programmed by the conscious mind, and the program's always considered as truth by subconscious mind. So, the subconscious mind does not know whatever it is right or wrong, good or bad, and the reality or imagination. The subconscious mind will do a routine activity that you have painstakingly learned by the conscious mind. For the example, drive a car. Remember when the first time you learned to drive? When you were driving a car and want to take a turn, you slowly take your foot off the gas, slowly turn your right blinker on, slowly put your foot on the brake, slowly start turning the steering wheel to the right, slowly straighten up the steering wheel, and slowly take your foot off the brake and put it back on the gas. Do you still remember that? When we painstakingly like that, the neural pathways were formed in our brain, then slowly our subconscious mind takes over. Now we are no longer need to bother when it comes to take a turn when driving. Now let's see what programs that stored in our subconscious mind. 1. Habits. All habits, whatever good or bad, are stored in our subconscious mind. 2. Emotions. Our subconscious mind will bring up the specific emotions that are triggered by the specific memories, events, or experiences. 3. Long-term memories. All events are recorded perfectly in our subconscious mind, but we do not consciously remember it. We can use hypnosis to explore these memories. 4. Personality. By combining all the experiences and reactions that we give, the subconscious mind builds our personality from childhood and we become what we are today. 5. Intuition. Because there are data or information that is not realized by the conscious mind, the subconscious mind will try to communicate with the conscious mind by using intuition. For example, to convey the message that is not recognized by the conscious mind, conveying the danger, or any good or bad things that is going to happen. The intuition could be in the form of a physical reaction, dream, or feeling. 6. Creativity. Creativity is the ability of our minds to change our visions, dreams, and thoughts into reality. The subconscious mind will continue to work to achieve whatever we programmed into ourselves, either positive or negative. 7. Perception. Perception is how we view this world. All the perceptions that appear are the outcome of what we learned in the past that have been patterned. 8. Belief and value. Belief is what you think as truth. Value is what you think as important things. Belief and value are all shaped by our perception when we faced a particular event. Belief and value are subjective view and we learned it from our experiences, knowledge, and hopes. The subconscious mind will continue to run or perform the above programs no matter what. Once the program embedded into our subconscious mind, the subconscious mind will run it under any circumstances until we replace the program with a new program. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, and belief system. The conscious mind is an electromind that always wants to choose, such as choosing a car, house, food, or life partner. Although the conscious mind acts as an elector that always analyzes any data and information, but actually our actions we do every day are controlled by the subconscious mind. The control occurs indirectly. That because it is done through the beliefs that's stored in our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the place of emotions, and a creative mind. The subconscious mind uses the infinite power, which is energy and wisdom of the human self. Also the subconscious mind uses all the nature laws to achieve its objectives. Sometimes the result or the answer came instantly with the way that can be expected. The subconscious mind does not care whether you thought it as good or bad, right or wrong. That is why learn how to use the subconscious mind becomes very important. Can you imagine what will happen if belief system does not in harmony with the will of the conscious mind? Because of our actions is always controlled by the belief system's subconscious. When the will of conscious mind is not in harmony with belief system, our actions will not produce the results we want. Unfortunately, this is what always happened. Often we have a dream. The dream is real for our conscious mind. The conscious mind believes we can achieve it. However, if our subconscious believes it can be achieved, then it is impossible for us to achieve that dream because the subconscious mind believes to the contrary. Our actions also reflect the opposite of the will of conscious mind. Most people don't know about it. That is why after they failed, they gave up, and they thought that is their fate, their destiny. They never realized that they can change their fate, change their destiny. All they need to do is change their belief. Realized or not, you, I, and everyone in this world are the creature of belief. You live your life based on the belief that is stored inside your subconscious mind. Belief determines your life, the things you want, the way you create the reality, and so on. Belief is truth according to you. Belief is fact according to you. Your subconscious mind can't tell which is true and not true. Your subconscious mind does not understand what is good or bad, right or wrong, positive or negative, and reality or imagination. Whatever you put into your subconscious mind, it will be carried out by your mind. Everyone has their own beliefs, and these beliefs are true according to them. They have both limiting belief and empowering belief. Sometimes they do not realize it. They do not know they have it. Yet we act, behave, and operate based on these beliefs. Thought, habits, perception, and action are determined by the belief system. Mindset and belief. Mindset that has a significant role in our lives. We perform a variety of actions because of the command of our minds, and this command is set by the existing patterns in our mind that we refer it as mindset. So, of course, mindset affects many aspects in our lives, such as the happiness, success, relationship, career, health, financial, and others. Many people talk about mindset, but actually only a few who truly understand the meaning behind the word of mindset. You can try to ask around about the meaning of mindset. I think most answer you can get is mindset is a way of thinking, mindset is thinking pattern, mindset is key to success, or even mindset is mindset. Many people can tell me about what is mindset. A lot of people talk about it, but no one can tell me what exactly it is. If we don't know the meaning of mindset, then how can we ask the question, how to change our mindset? I decide to research this mindset term. Here are some definitions of the mindset I collect from various sources. According to the dictionary, encyclopedia and thesaurus. 1. A fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's responses to and interpretations of situations. 2. An inclination or a habit. According to Wikipedia. In decision theory and general systems theory, a mindset is a set of assumptions, methods, or notations held by one or more people or groups of people that is so established that it creates a powerful incentive within these people or groups to continue to adopt or accept prior behaviors, choices, or tools. According to the concise Oxford Dictionary, 9th edition, a fixed opinion or state of mind formed by earlier events. According to the Oxford Advanced Learner's Dictionary of Current English, 6th edition, a set of attitudes or that somebody has fixed ideas and that are often difficult to change. From the definitions above, I made a conclusion that mindset is the belief or a set of beliefs or ways of thinking that influence the behavior and attitude of a person who will ultimately determine the level of success in life. Mindset is determined or influenced by the belief system. If you want to change the mindset, the fact is you have to change your belief system. In other words, belief change is the master key to change anything in your life. Belief in our lives. Belief is something you believe and think it as truth. Belief is an active program, working in the background of your mental computer, moving between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Belief is an interpretation, summary, or conclusion, that made by the conscious mind based on an experience of past events. This interpretation, summary, or conclusion is a generalization to a given situation, how to achieve or avoid something. We understand the complex world around us by create simple rules from past experiences. We use these rules to describe and understand new experiences. These rules are very helpful and allow us to live. Belief is a shortcut for making decisions and is a generalization to help us react quickly without thinking too long. If we always have to search the meaning of new experience in life, through a process of logical thinking, then it would be a heavy burden for our minds. For the example, when we want to open the door, there are various kinds of doors in this world. Can imagine if we need to analyze how to open the door every time we meet a new door. Every belief provides a shortcut how we should think, act, and behave. It certainly affects your action and behavior, and had an effect on the creation of your reality. Belief is the result of our interpretation of the experience or event in our life, and most are childhood experiences. This belief is formed from family, religion, education, social environment, teachers, the media and others. Children often have cruel things said to them, and these things are easily implanted into the subconscious mind of a child, and often remain there for life. Can you imagine, in a time span of 18 years, even though the child is raised in a positive family, they still can get more than 148,000 negative statements said to them. Just imagine such statements like, "You stupid, you'll never achieve anything, you can do anything right," and so on, which is told by their parents, friends, siblings, and teachers. Statements like these are said by a respected figure to a child repeatedly and with emotion. Thus the subconscious mind accepts these negative statements as truth and fact. As they grow up, it is not surprising that they hold negative self-concepts and limiting beliefs in their subconscious minds. As long as we still hold the same beliefs, it means we will get the same results. There is no way we can get different results by keep holding the same beliefs. So, the effect of belief in our lives requires us to really understand and comprehend the mechanism of belief or how it works and then change it. Value. What is the value? What's the difference between value and belief? Belief is something that we believe as the right things, according to our thoughts, while value is something that we believe as the important things to us, again, according to our thoughts. Same like belief, value also a subjective view. So each person has different values. Value formed from belief, which is the meaning of our life experiences that have a very strong emotional charge, either positive or negative emotions. Before changing value, first we need to change our beliefs because the value can be considered as a core belief, or the belief that crystallized. In essence, the value is the emotional state that we believe as the most important emotion that we need to experience or to avoid. Principles of value. To understand more about value, the following are the 8 important principles that we should know. 1. Value is the filter that operates in the subconscious that determines our focus and how we use time. Value lies in the subconscious and determines our focus. The things that we think as valuable will get more our attention, while the things that we think are not important will be less or not get our attention, and this certainly affects our time management. 2. We use the value to evaluate the action. Value acts as a mental scale. Every action we want to do always get the evaluation of the value. After that, the actions we have done will be judged by other values. 3. Value is a source of motivation. What can make us to feel motivated to do something? Whatever we perceive as something important, valuable, or significant, will be a source of motivation, like a fire that is inextinguishable. 4. Value arranged by hierarchy. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to make a choice to choose one of the 2 options that you feel are equally important? You feel confused and can make a choice. Even you have decided, but there is still a self-conflict within yourself. This happened because the value of 2 options is on the same level of hierarchy. In other words, the 2 options are equally important to you. Then, have you ever able to decide quickly when you had to choose between the 2 options? That's because the value of 2 options are on different hierarchy levels. Values that are in a higher level of hierarchy have a higher value than the values that are on the lower level of the hierarchy. 5. Value can lead to self-conflict. As explained above, self-conflict occurs because we have to choose one of 2 options that their values are at the same level of hierarchy, or equally important. This self-conflict is also one of the obstacles of a person's success in achieving goals. 6. Value changed as we grow. As the development of a person in terms of intellectual, mental, emotional, and spiritual, we are also experiencing growth and value development. Something that we feel as important in the past, maybe it is not important anymore. Conversely, something that we feel is not important in the past is now become very important. 7. Value is backed up by beliefs. Each value is backed up by the group beliefs that are in harmony with that value. If we manage to change our belief, then our value might also change. 8. Every aspect of our lives has its own value. We have many values. In every aspect of life there is a value that we used as a reference. How belief formed? Belief is formed through a complex process. We need to understand the process of how belief formed so we can easily make modifications or changes in belief. The process of mind programming actually has happened since the children are still in the womb of their mother, since they were 3 months old. At this time, the subconscious mind has been developed perfectly, recorded everything experienced the children and their mother. When we were born only with subconscious, and the job is to act as a hard disk to record all the things we experienced. As we grow up, we continually program our mind, through our interaction with the outside world and within us. The mind programming is particularly come from parent, siblings, neighborhoods, teachers, TV, and anyone close to us. Belief formation process. When we experienced an event. After experienced an event, the mind will give a meaning to the experience. The process of giving a meaning in young children occurs through imprint and misunderstanding. Imprint is a thought that has been registered at the subconscious level of the mind at a time of great emotion or stress, causing a change in behavior. Misunderstanding is a wrong understanding by a person when giving a meaning or drawing a conclusion of an experience or event. Every event is essentially neutral. It has no meaning. The mind is the one which gives meaning. The given meaning can be positive, negative, or neutral, and this meaning is always true according to our subconscious mind. Furthermore, the meaning would lead to the emergence of emotion that goes along with that meaning. When our minds give a positive meaning to an experience or event we experience, the positive emotions arise. If the meaning is negative, then negative emotions arise. After that, these emotions will affect the next process. After the emotion arises, the mind will try to test the truth of meaning. Our mind would look for data to support the meaning that given before. When the mind is able to find the data that support the meaning, then it will accept it as truth or valid. The next stage, after receiving and stated a truth meaning, our mind began to adjust and harden into a form that is repetitive responses, thought habits. After this process, belief is formed. Here the illustration to make you more understand. A story about a woman who very hard to find a life partner. When she was a little girl, she often saw her mother always got careless treatment by her parent-in-law, and her father never tried to defend her mother. At that time she gave the meaning that marriage life was not pleasant, suffering, and torturous. This lead to negative emotion. After the negative emotion arises, the mind will try to test the truth of meaning. The mind would look for data to support that meaning. When she heard her friend mother also complain about their marriage life, the program was strengthened. Also, she watched a drama or movie with grief content, divorce and other negative things. The program was strengthened more. As I thought, the marriage life is not good. Children can analyze properly because their conscious mind filter, which is critical factor, was not developed perfect. This experience would create new belief. I do not want to get married. As an adult, she may not remember that ever create this program. I do not want to get married because it was accidental or unconscious. She does not remember anything what she ever seen or heard about marriage life. And as adults, like most women, she wants to get married, establish their own marriage, living happily with family. But, what's going on? The program I do not want to get married is activated. The program still works and makes her experiencing the difficulties in dating aspect. When she wanted to get married, the program is to sabotage her life. There are many things happened. The future husband suddenly called off the wedding. The quarrel between her family and her boyfriend family caused them can continue their marriage. Her boyfriend Kant was already married. When she found a good person, she is keep doubting him. The subconscious mind makes these events happen, and as long as the program has not been revoked, the similar events will keep repeated. What happens after the mind adopts belief? Belief will affect our action and behavior. What happens if we act or behave in a certain pattern? That's right. Our action and behavior will determine our life achievements alias our fate. Empowering belief and limiting belief. Belief can be a universal and verifiable by anyone. For example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, the earth rotating the sun, and so on. Belief can be personal or private, and this is what we call a self-belief. This belief is formed by family, religion, education, social environment, teachers, and other media. Self-belief contains about the general nature in daily life such as employment, financial, human and specific matters such as confidence in achieving outcomes, and so on. Self-belief can be divided into belief that support you in achieving your goal that we called as empowering belief, and belief that hinder you in achieving your goal that we called as limiting belief. The examples of empowering belief are: if he was able to do it, that means I also able to do it. I have the power to achieve my goal. I have the good fortune. It's easy to earn money in a certain way. While limiting belief examples are: I am too old to be successful. Rich people are evil, so I do not want to be rich. I lack of skills to success. Success is just for certain person. Beliefs are inhabited in subconscious mind. Beliefs that have settled in the subconscious will drive us automatically. Problems arise when the conscious mind is in conflict with the subconscious mind. For example, a person's conscious mind agreed that smoking is harmful to health and would like to stop smoking. But the subconscious mind has been programmed smoking is give pleasant feeling. Because the power of the subconscious mind, which is almost 9 times more powerful than conscious mind, it will slaughter the desire to stop smoking. Empowering belief will help you and support you in achieving your goal, while limiting belief will hinder, even commit self-sabotage against you. By filling your subconscious mind with the limiting belief, means building subconscious mind power into the negativity and destroy your goal. By filling your subconscious mind with empowering belief, means building subconscious mind power into positive and achieve your goal. All beliefs are positive. Many people use the term positive belief and negative belief. However, this term is less accurate. One thing you should know is all beliefs are positive and formed with positive intent. One thing we need to understand is all mind programs, I repeat, all programs are good and positive. The program aims to make you happy. Remember the story about a woman who very hard to find a life partner because she has a belief: I do not want to get married. This belief is a positive and formed with positive intent, which is to protect her from marriage life. Therefore, we can divide belief as positive belief or negative belief. Because all beliefs are formed with positive intent, remember one of the traits of subconscious mind is to protect you. Therefore, we divide belief by its benefit. Is that belief help you in achieving your success? If not, we call it as limiting belief. If it is help you, we call it as empowering belief. Limiting belief and self-sabotage. I sure you definitely have a realistic ambition and strive to achieve it, by doing a variety of efforts and hard work. However, you stopped because you thought that your dream is unrealistic and unachievable. If you ever encounter the case above, then there is a mental disorder that interfere you. It commonly referred as the mental block. Mental block or limiting belief is beliefs that are not in harmony with your conscious wish or desire. When the will of your conscious mind is not in harmony with belief of subconscious mind, it will lead to self-conflict that would cause self-sabotage. To illustrate it, hear a story about the salesman that I took from John D. Murphy's book Secrets of Successful Selling. A certain salesman always managed to make almost exactly $5,000 per year, regardless of the territory they assigned him or the commission he was paid. Because this salesman had done well in a rather small territory, he had been given a larger and much better one. But the next year his commission amounted to almost the same amount as that he had made in the smaller one, $5,000. The following year the company increased the commission paid to all salesmen, but this salesman still managed to make only $5,000. He was then assigned one of the poorest territories and again made the usual $5,000. The problem was not in the territory but in the salesman's own evaluation of himself. He thought of himself as a $5,000 per year man, and as long as he held that concept of himself, outside conditions didn't seem to matter much. When he was assigned the poor territory, he worked hard to make that $5,000. When he was assigned a good territory, he found all sorts of excuses to coast when the $5,000 was in sight. Once, when the goal had been reached, he got sick and was unable to work anymore that year, although doctors could find nothing wrong with him, and he miraculously recovered by the first of the next year. Although this story is very old, as is obvious with the $5,000 annual salary, it clearly shows the amazing power of belief. In this case, a negative, self-limiting belief. Another example is one person who wants to be rich, but whatever he has done, he did not produce any results. After doing some therapies, he found out that he has a limiting belief that if he becomes a successful person in financial, he will be the center of attention, so he would lose his privacy and become troubled by it. Everyone wants to live a comfortable, successful, and happy life. But in the reality, human life is operated by the programs installed on the subconscious mind, either intentional or not, consciously or not. And because the place is in deep of the subconscious mind, most of times we don't know about it. This self-sabotage usually happens because there is a conflict between the conscious mind and subconscious mind. As long as we don't change the limiting beliefs inside ourselves, no matter what opportunities we encountered, we will not be able to move forward. Limiting belief is same like a story about a small elephant which its leg has been chained hundreds of times. He tried to escape from the chains, but he did not succeed. As he was grow, even though the body and strength have become very powerful, he still had belief that he would not be able to break the chains that bind at his feet. By change the limiting belief into empowering belief, then our actions would be different. With different action and different approach, then the results we got will be different. Why positive thinking DOES and work against limiting belief? So far, we are always believed that positive thinking is always useful and helpful for us, while negative thinking is only bring negativity and harmful for us. That's what we learn from a variety of self-development book, well-known trainers and speakers, and from a variety of seminars or workshops. Furthermore, what is the advantage of having negative thoughts? Oftentimes we feel convinced and assured if we think positively. According to various books or trainer and motivator, positive thinking is good for us. However, what rarely disclosed is that positive thinking must be really sincerity. What I mean by sincerity is both conscious and subconscious mind are mutually agree, synchronous, congruent, and in harmony to think positive. For example, one person who set a new sales target, the new target is 50% higher than the previous target. His conscious mind believe, or rather being forced to believe, that he is able to achieve this target. Unfortunately, there is part of him that rejects this new target because the new target is considered too high and impossible to achieve. But he still believes in positive thinking that he can achieve anything. After 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and he still has not managed to achieve the new target and start to feel bad. But he keeps trying to think positive. And here he must be careful. In the above case, if he keeps forcefully to think positive, actually he, unconsciously, has educated the subconscious mind that he is indeed incompetent alias loser. The more a person seeks to be positive, the more negative he became. Human memory is holographic, so it has the ability to cross-reference, means there is no stand-alone memory. Everything is interrelated. As we seek to think positive, at the same time we also trigger the negative memory in subconscious. The more we try to be more positive, the stronger the negative effects. It is rarely recognized and understood by people. You can see there are also cases of people who always confident in public were found to commit suicide. Obviously this is very surprising. How come a person who always looks so confident and motivated turned out to be negative? But such is the case for Lynn Rosen and John Littig, radio hosts of the show Pursuit of Happiness. Does that mean we have to stop thinking positive? No. Positive thinking is certainly very useful in our lives. However, you must be very cautious when trying to think positive. Is there any negative feelings that tag along? If no, then it's great. I'm sure you can reach your goals with keep positive thinking. But if there is a negative feeling suddenly appeared when you think positively, then you need to stop immediately. First, fix these negative feelings. How? You can use EFT, which I'm going to cover later. Why affirmation DOES and work against limiting belief. Most people try to use positive affirmations to change their limiting belief into empowering belief. However, DOES and work in affirmation is very popular self-development tool or method. Affirmations can be used to program our mind by repeating a positive statement that we want to set into our subconscious mind. Direct suggestion or affirmation technique has become a very frequently used by the hypnotherapist. One of the positive affirmations that often used is I become more successful, I become more confident, I would appear confident. Surely this is good affirmations, as long as this is done to the right person at the right time. Especially for therapists who handle a depressive client, positive affirmations can be a dangerous thing for the client. A depressive person which generally has much negative self-concept, when we try to give a positive suggestion, This suggestion would in conflict with her belief system. Here I give the example of case handled by a doctor who is also a hypnotherapist. A female client was come with a complaint of itchy skin. Her skin condition was become red and blisters, because often scratched. For several years she had experienced this condition. The therapist guided her into hypnotic state, light conditions, and provided suggestion of feeling of calm, and the skin feels comfortable. 2 days later, the client was come again and reported that her condition became worse. The therapist then gave the same suggestion with the aim to strengthen the previous suggestion. But 2 days later, her condition became worse. This time the therapist tried to change the strategy and gave suggestions to stop the movement of the arm that always scratching itchy skin. She received and executed this suggestion. She stopped scratching for a while. A few days later, she came back and her skin was in serious condition. After having in-depth interview, it was found that the skin disease is the strategy to get the attention of her husband. Thus the suggestion to stop the itchy skin has seen as a threat, and her subconscious mind against the suggestion or affirmation. This story gives a clear picture of the lack of therapist caution. The therapist was in a hurry, used a suggestion-based therapy without a deep and thorough investigation of the case. Although it seems that the case of itchy skin is easy and trivial cases, any positive affirmations given to people who have limiting beliefs will make them more in pain. Even, in one of Psychology Journal in 2012 stated that there is a negative correlation between positive affirmations with the mood of a person who has a negative self-confidence. The Journal of Psychological Science published a study done by Dr. Joanne Wood of the University of Waterloo in Ontario, Canada, entitled Positive Self-Statements, Power for Some, Peril for Others, concluded that repeating positive self-statements may benefit certain people, such as individuals with high self-esteem, but backfire for the very people who need them the most. In brief, Wood suggested that people with low self-esteem are harmed by self-affirmation because they just don't believe themselves to be lovable persons. Open declarative statements often trigger automatic counter-arguing. Someone who is overly self-critical and who says to herself, "I am a lovable person," might spontaneously sneer at her clumsy attempt at self-indoctrination. As a result, self-esteem goes down even further. Instead of pulling the person's self-concept up, the positive self-statement now highlights the difference between the actual and the ideal self. Before the affirmation or suggestion executed by subconscious mind, it has to pass 2 stages. First, the affirmation or suggestion needs to pass the critical factor. For this, we can use a hypnotic state, the alpha-theta brainwaves. Secondly, affirmation or suggestion needs to pass the filter of the subconscious mind. There are 5 filters in the subconscious mind, and the most influential is the belief. In other words, to make affirmations work, it must not get a rejection from the program that already existed in the subconscious mind. This is also one of the reasons why subliminal messages do not work. Subliminal messages that claim just by simply listen to it, the recorded positive affirmations can bypass the critical factor and reach the subconscious mind. Unfortunately, if there are limiting beliefs in the subconscious mind, even the positive affirmations had bypassed the critical factor, it will still be rejected. In short, we have to destroy limiting belief before using affirmations, and that's the first thing I taught in my book Handbook of Affirmation. Why Willpower DOES and Work Against Limiting Belief. To weaken and remove a limiting belief, we need the right technique, method, and strategy. Many people rely on willpower and self-discipline, but it does not work. You do not believe it? You can do your own research. Why willpower does not work. There are 8 rules of the mind, and one of the rules states that, when dealing with the subconscious mind and its functions, the greater the conscious effort, the less the subconscious response. Whenever you try to make a change in your daily life by trying to make a conscious effort, you will not be able to succeed. The complete opposite will happen, and you will only strengthen a habit or whatever you are at that moment you try to change. For the example, if you ever experienced insomnia, the harder you try to sleep, then the harder you can sleep. Another example is when you meet up with your old friends. You were not remembering her name, and while you were talking to him, you keep asking what his name in your mind. Finally, your conversation was finished and you still can remember his name. Once you part with him and you back doing your activities again, Then suddenly you remember his name. Subconscious mind DOES, and like being forced. Although we could use our subconscious mind to achieve what we want, it does not mean we are the master of the subconscious mind. So the relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is not the master and slave. To more precisely, they are lover. Force or willpower or self-discipline is a function of the conscious mind, and belief lies in the subconscious mind. And as we know, the power of the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind is 1 in 9. That is, the technique based on conscious mind will be very difficult to reach out and make changes in the subconscious mind. Destroy a limiting belief now. The difficulty in changing belief is often happen because new belief is not in harmony with the old belief. We can adopt a new belief. In order to make it fully effective, the new belief need to be fully accepted and get no resistance from the old beliefs. For the example is in the children. The children with low academic achievement, despite having studied hard, usually had the belief I am the fool, or I can know this lesson hard, I can memorize it. The parent or teacher always tried to convince the children that they can do it, they were able to do it. They were smart, but still can change the results. Why? Because what the parent or teacher do is trying to insert a new belief, while within the child there are still very strong limiting beliefs that control their lives. Belief is same as living creature. They will defend their lives with all their strength. They are not willing to be competed with, disturbed, or even replaced with a new belief. If we want to complete change our lives, then we need to clear, destroy, or remove these old beliefs. After that we can adopt a new belief. But before doing that, first thing we need to do is to identify the limiting belief within ourselves. If we don't know who are we fighting with, how we can win. Identify limiting belief. Often the subconscious mind will hinder the progress or changes we want, in the aspects of income, career, relationships with other people, and so on. When you want to start or want to change, it seems like there are mental barriers that prevent you. This is what we referred as a mental block. I'm sure you already witnessed enough. There are many people who are very difficult to change. There are people who are even already have a large income and high career position but still not able to save their money, or difficult to reach a certain target, either income or saving. There are also people who won a lottery but still were not able to transform their fate into a much better life. This happens due to a mental block. Now you are willing to change, but it seems like there are many obstacles. Each time you can go ahead and make a change, but there are mental barriers that inhibit your rate of success and achievement. How do I overcome this mental block? The first is to recognize it. How do I recognize it? You can do it by perform a communication with yourself. For those who are already familiar with ego state therapy, you can easily use it to identify a limiting belief within yourself. If you are not, do the simple exercise. Prepare yourself and get into a comfortable state. Choose a better place without interruption. Prepare a pen and paper. Then, follow these simple steps. The exercise to identifying mental block. 1. Ensure yourself to relax. Try to find 15 minutes or half an hour when no interference whatsoever, TV, phone, or other sounds. If you need, you can lock your room. 2. Sit comfortably and relax yourself. Then write down the goals you want to accomplish in. 3. If you have a limiting belief, usually there is some kind of negative self-talk, such as there is no way you can achieve it. Is it possible? Doubt, fear, uncertainty, etc. will immediately arise within your mind. As you write your goal, this limiting belief will try to discover your past history about past failure or people's opinions about our dreams. A doubt and fear will instantly raging in your hearts. That is the mental block within you which is currently working. 4. What you need to do is try to write one by one all the obstacles, rejection, and whatever any negative feelings you feel when being associated with your new ideals. 5. Do not be resisted, just relax and serve protest from the critics. If you fight, usually it would instantly silent, but the part of you that responsible for that problem will mobilize all its ability to obstruct, hinder, and sabotage all your efforts in achieving your goal. When you want something big, this limiting belief will perform a database analysis and trying to make you want to cancel your wish or desire with the excuses that seems logic. One thing you need to do is try to write one by one all the obstacles, rejection, distrust, and any negative feelings that arise when you are thinking about your new goal. Do not analyze and do not resist. Relax and continue to write all the negative self-talks that appear. While you write, Please say thank you. I receive the good intentions of this rejection or resistance. I accept and love myself. One thing that you need to know, a program, as long as it does and inhibit ourselves, then we do not change. Leave it alone. One of my friends was so eagerly looking for a variety of mental blocks, even come to complain, why I can't find my mental block. If you can find it means you don't have it. Why we need to force to have it. Concerns have found no mental block can actually become a new mental block. We have so many beliefs in different aspects of life. It would be very difficult if we want to find it or analyze it one by one. Mental block. We can feel it when there are resistances or barriers when we want to achieve a higher target. The rejections also arise when we want to change. Feeling lazy, sleepy, and a range of other feelings that hamper the efforts to change. This is the act of our mental block. That is the time we need to find and identify the limiting belief. The question is how we know if it is a limiting belief or not. There are some things that we can use to recognize it as a signal of the subconscious. When you set a target or goal and you find it is reasonable and achievable, however, there is an uncomfortable feeling in the chest. There is an uneasy feeling in heart. Stomach feels queasy. A voice that mocked, laughed at, rejected, denied, and the words of others who do not support, and so on. That's the sign that you have a limiting belief. Bottom line, if you have set a higher target, from what you have achieved, and you feel something wrong or no good in your heart, then it is an indication of a limiting belief. Or if you keep failing or have the same pattern of failure, it is an indication of self-sabotage or a limited belief. It's the time for you to identify a limiting belief by performing the 5 steps above. Proven methods to destroy limiting beliefs. Once you identified a mental block or limiting belief you have, then the next step is to turn it into empowering belief that will help you in achieving your goals. The easiest way and the fastest way to do that is consult with your local hypnotherapist. However, if you want to do it yourself, it does and mean you can. There are several techniques that have been proven in changing one's belief. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, self-hypnosis, EFT, emotional freedom technique, Sedona method, and much more. It would be very difficult if I explain it one by one in this book. If you are interested to learn it, you can search it via the internet. There are many free sources that can teach you. In this book, I'm going to teach you 3 methods you can use to clear your limiting belief. They are associated with pain and pleasure, EFT, and NLP submodality belief change. So which is the better one? All methods are same effective. You can use either one. Clear limiting beliefs by associate it with pain and pleasure. To remove or clear a limiting belief we need the right way, technique, and strategy. One of the ways that is often taught in self-help books is to question the truth of the belief. Belief has its own logic. The logic of our limiting beliefs is not same like the logic of our conscious mind. So if we can prove that the logic of our limiting belief is wrong, then this limiting belief will destroy itself. For example, at one time, humans believed that the Earth was the center of the solar system. However, it was later discovered that this belief is a mistake. Once the belief is proven wrong, when it has no supported evidences, soon this belief will destroy itself. Another example, if you have a limiting belief about money is evil, you can destroy it by simply provides the data to support your belief is wrong. Check the truth of the belief in your own way. You may interview the rich people, or you may check it on the internet, or other ways. Gather as much as data and evidences to prove your limiting beliefs are wrong. The more data and evidences you have, the faster you will be free from your limiting belief. Unfortunately, many people failed when using this technique. Why? If you are too attached with your limiting belief, no matter what kinds of data and evidences you gather, it will not be able to shake down your limiting belief. Because your belief is true according to you, no matter what kinds of data and evidences you have, it will always get attacked by your limiting belief. Remember, belief is like living creatures. It will try to defend their lives. For example, money is evil. If you get the new data money is just a tool, that evil one is the human, it will be attacked by your limiting belief, that because the one who make people become evil is money. Or suppose you get other data. Look, Bill Gates is a good man, he always donate money. You probably will attack but that what it looks like in the surface, what about behind the scenes, and so on. Another example is the story that I took from the book Beliefs. Pathway to Health and Well-Being by Robert Dilts. There is an old story described by Abraham Maslow. A psychiatrist was treating a man who believed he was a corpse. Despite all the psychiatrist's logical arguments, the man persisted in his belief. In a flash of inspiration, the psychiatrist asked the man, "Do corpses bleed?" The patient replied, "That's ridiculous. Of course corpses don't bleed." After first asking for permission, the psychiatrist pricked the man's finger and produced a drop of bright red blood. The patient looked at his bleeding finger with abject astonishment and exclaimed, "I'll be damned, corpses do bleed." "This is because you are trying to question whether the belief is true or not." "Well, of course the belief is definitely true." Belief, whatever you have, either limiting or empowering belief, is truth. Something that you think is right, once again according to your subjective view. Then what should I do? What you need to do is not ask, "Is this belief true or not?" but try to ask, "Is this belief support my achievement or not?" Associate it with pain and pleasure. Anthony Robbins said, "If we associate enough pain to anything, we'll change." The only reason we have a belief about something is that we've linked massive pain to not believing it and massive pleasure to keeping it alive. Ask yourself what happens if you do not immediately remove such belief. Imagine what would happen if 5 years from now you still keep those beliefs. Write the answers and be honest with yourself. After that, associate it with the pleasure you can get if you have thrown away your limiting belief. After you clear your limiting belief, then you can start to do affirmations to reprogram or install an empowering belief into your mind. Clear limiting beliefs using EFT. EFT emotional freedom technique is one variant of the MBT meridian-based therapy. EFT is similar to acupuncture techniques. The difference is acupuncture uses needles to stimulate approximately 365 points in the 12 meridian energies, while EFT just uses your fingers to tap 7-18 tapping points in the 12 meridian energies with a certain taps and order. The process itself is actually quite simple. While holding a problem in mind and feel the emotions associated with that problem, you tap on specific area in your body. You can use EFT to solve both your physical and emotional issues. In this book, I'm going to cover how to use EFT to overcome the problems that associated with the negative emotions that arise as a result of the limiting belief. I'm going to explain a bit how it works. First, every event we experienced is actually neutral. It is our mind that gives the meaning to the events or experiences. It can be positive, negative, or neutral. Positive meaning would lead to positive emotions, while negative meaning would lead to negative emotions. Now, according to EFT theory, before the emotions arise, first electrical disruption will occur on the meridian pathways in the body. If the disruption continues, it can lead to emotional distress and eventually physical problems. The purpose of EFT is to overcome this electrical disruption. When the disruption is resolved, the negative emotions are also resolved as well. EFT tapping points. EFT tapping points. 1. Eyebrow EB at the beginning of the eyebrows, near the nose. 2. Side of eyes SE on the bone at the side of the eye, farthest from the nose. 3. Under eye UE on the bone under an eye about 1 inch below your pupil. 4. Under nose UN between the bottom of the nose and the top of the lip. 5. Chin CH halfway between the mouth and the bottom of the chin. 6. Collarbone CB from the notch in the middle of the collarbones. Go down 1 inch and sideways 1 inch to locate this point. The collarbone point is not actually on the collarbone but is the start of the collarbone. 7. Underarm UA 4 inches below the armpit. 8. Thumb TH. This point is located at the base of the thumbnail. 9. Index finger IF near the base of the nail of the index finger, on the thumb side. 10. Middle finger MF near the nail bed of middle finger, on the thumb side. 11. Baby finger BF near the nail bed of the baby finger, on the thumb side. 12. Karate chop KC. The fleshy part of the little finger side of the hand. It is at the end of the palm crease which you see when the fist is lightly clenched. The sore spot is about 3 inches down from the notch in the middle of the collarbones, and about 2 inches to the side. The sore spot is rubbed. This is the only point that isn't tapped. The gamut point is located between the bones of the ring finger and the baby finger, about an inch down from the knuckles. Some things to note. Some of the tapping points have twin points on each side of the body. For example, The EB point on the right side of the body has a twin point on the left side of the body. It doesn't matter which side you tap. You can also switch sides when you tap these points. The tapping is done by using both index and middle fingertips. This way, you can cover a larger area and thereby ensure that your tapping covers the correct point. While you can tap with either hand, most people use their dominant hand. You tap approximately 7 times on each point. No need to count the taps because anywhere between 3 and 7 taps on each point is adequate. The only exception is sore spot and gamut point. EFT procedure. Now let's get started. Think about the issues of limiting belief. Now, try to feel what kind of negative emotion that arises when you feel that limiting belief, such as fear, helplessness, worthlessness, shame, anger, disappointment, resentment, hurt, and other negative emotions. Then, specify the subscale subjective units of discomfort. Feel the emotions associated with the problem, then ask yourself what the level of intensity of the emotion. Use a scale between 0-10. The higher the number means the stronger the negative emotions you feel. You don't need to confuse when decided. Just use your feeling as standard. The target of EFT is to make that intensity of emotion become 0. 4 basic ingredients. 1. The setup. The setup consists of 2 parts, which are 1. Saying an affirmation 3 times. 2. Simultaneously correcting for psychological reversal. Either rubbing the sore spot or tapping the karate chop point. Say this affirmation 3 times. Even though I have this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Fill in the blank with the specific emotion of the limiting belief you want to address. For the example, even though I have this unworthy feeling about money, I deeply and completely accept myself. Again, it does and matter which side your body you rub or tap. It also does and matter which hand you use. 2. The sequence. Set a reminder phrase to reminiscent the negative emotions that want to be removed. By using the above example, it would be, this unworthy feeling. Then, do the tapping on the points that have been determined approximately 7 times. You don't need to count while tapping. After you finish saying your reminder phrase, it would be around 3-7 times. And that would be enough. Tap the following points with the fingertips of your index finger and middle finger, while saying the reminder phrase. 1. EB equal beginning of the eyebrow. 2. SE equal side of the eye. 3. UE equal under the eye. 4. UN equal under the nose. 5. CH equal chin. 6. CB equal beginning of the collarbone. 7. UA equal under the arm. 8. TH equal thumb. 9. IF equal index finger. 10. MF equal middle finger. 11. BF equal baby finger. 12. KC equal karate chop. 3. 9 gamut procedure. To perform 9 gamut procedure, you only need to keep tapping the gamut point continuously, without specifying keywords, and keep your head straight ahead. Gamut point is located between the bones of the ring finger and the baby finger, about an inch down from the knuckles. While tapping continuously on the gamut point, complete the following. 1. Close your eyes. 2. Open your eyes. 3. Keeping head straight, look down right. 4. Keeping head straight, look down left. 5. Whirl eyes in a circular motion clockwise. 6. Whirl eyes counterclockwise. 7. Hum 3 seconds of any tune for the example, Happy Birthday. 8. Count out loud from 1-5. 9. Hum 3 seconds of any tune again for the example, Happy Birthday. 4. The sequence again. Tap about 7 times on each of the following while repeating the reminder phrase at each point. 1. EB equal beginning of the eyebrow. 2. SE equal side of the eye. 3. UE equal under the eye. 4. UN equal under the nose. 5. CH equal chin. 6. CB equal beginning of the collarbone. 7. UA equal under the arm. 8. TH equal thumb. 9. IF equal index finger. 10. MF equal middle finger. 11. BF equal baby finger. 12. KC equal karate chop. Once you finish 4 stages above, take long inhale and exhale. Ask yourself how your feelings after doing the above steps. What your SUD now. For example, your first intensity of emotion is 8 and now it goes to 5. Then please repeat the 4 basic ingredient again. But this time, change the affirmation sentence becomes, even though I still have some of this, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. For the example, even though I still have some of this unworthy feeling about money, I deeply and completely accept myself. And the reminder phrase is also need to be changed into the remaining for the example, the remaining unworthy feeling. Please keep do it until the intensity of your emotions down to number 2 or 1. After that, do the finishing touch to make the intensity directly down to 0. The method: 1. Keep your face straight ahead. Done. Move. 2. Tap the gamut point continuously without mentioning reminder phrase. 3. Count 1. Eyes staring at the floor. 4. Count 2. Eyes began slightly up. 5. Count 3. Eyes looking straight ahead. 6. Count 4. Eyes began slightly up. 7. Count 5. Eyes staring very up. 8. Count 6. Eyes staring at the ceiling without tilting the head. Finishing touch process can be done 2-3 times, to ensure the emotional scale actually go down to 0.1. Weakness of EFT. What if the intensity of the emotions I have can drop to 0 or it even goes up? You need to do the sequence of taping completely and follow the order. But, what if after you complete it, it still can drop to 0? EFT is very effective in dealing with both physical and emotional problems. But there is one weakness in using EFT. You have to be really specific with the problem you are dealing. The more specific it is, the better the outcome. The more clearly you understand the emotions you want to deal, the more specific belief will also be dealt with. If after doing EFT, the intensity of emotion you dealt can go down, it means that the emotion you dealt is not right. For example, you have a limiting belief money is evil. Then you think you do not deserve to have a lot of money. Therefore you use the unworthy as a reference. You use EFT to make the intensity of unworthy emotion to be 0, but unfortunately it could not. It turns out your feeling about money is hate. So, what you should handle is hate emotion, not unworthy. So, you have to be really clear or understand the emotions of your limiting belief in order to make EFT work effectively. Clear limiting beliefs using NLP. If you are familiar with the world of personal development, then you might occasionally or even frequently hear the word of NLP. There are many ways how people define NLP. The unique explanation is actually same, although presented with different words or sentences. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It can be interpreted simply as a science that studies the internal structure of how human thinking and behaving. Humans, while doing their daily activities, absorb a variety of information from outside of themselves. This information is received, interpreted, and stored in the form of code in human memory. For example, what comes to your mind if you hear the word coffee? It can be different for each person. After hearing the word coffee, you maybe want to drink a coffee, or you suddenly think about coffee beans, or a certain brand of coffee, or maybe a silly event you ever encountered when you drink it, or the other. Every person stores different codes in their mind about the coffee. Coffee in the above example is one of the examples of how a code led to a different response in the human mind. The code that has been interpreted and stored in our mind determines the external behavior of us. A brief explanation above is also what makes NLP is often defined as the study of how humans absorb information through the 5 senses. Neuro gives meaning or code on the information with a code of language, linguistic and patterns of behavior programming as the results from their responses. NLP is also widely used in the world of psychotherapy. The reason is simple, because humans have a tendency to apply homeostasis, or in the simply terms tends to persist in the comfort zone, not only in the context of the situation, but also in behavior. For example, a person who have an ophidiophobia or phobia of snake. This phobia or fear emotion rises is not because of the snake, but because of internal pattern or program in their mind that triggers a fear when confronted with snakes. This pattern appears because of certain experiences or events in their past that has been conditioned as an automatic behavior. The automatic behavior that has been formed is stored or maintained in the human mind, not just because they do not know how to change it, but also because all of these mechanisms give them a certain benefit. For example, fear of snake actually keeps them away from snake, which has been recognized as a dangerous creature in their minds. So, the benefit they get is sense of security. Humans who do not know or do not realize this, makes them enslaved by his own mind, or in plain language the victim of feeling. NLP provides a way to map this internal structure so it can be modified and elicited so it will give different response in the future. For example, a person who often feels anxious and nervous when trying to make a presentation in public, NLP is able to help this person with a variety of useful techniques to modify their own internal structures which automatically change the feelings. So next time, when he wants to do a presentation in public, he won't feel any anxious and nervous feeling again. Some modality. First, I need to tell you that what I write in this book can cover all of NLP. If you are interested in NLP, there are many books you can read, or you can try to learn it by using internet. And if you are very interested, you can attend the NLP seminars or training. In this chapter, I will explain one of the NLP techniques that is very powerful and how you can use it to change your belief. I consider the model of submodalities to be probably the most significant thing I've done so far. That was said by the Richard Bandler of One, the creator of NLP. You can feel the results immediately after you practice it. So, what is it? Submodality. How do we apply it in our lives? First, to understanding the outside world, humans need to have a representation of the outside world in their mind. We capture the information from the outside world through the five senses: visual sight, auditory hearing, kinesthetic feeling and touch, olfactory smell and gustatory taste. In NLP, these are referred as representational systems or modalities. Various human behaviors and feelings about something or someone are influenced by how we represent something or someone in our minds. That means if we change our representation to something or someone, our behaviors and feelings are also changed. Generally, we work with only three modalities: visual, auditory and kinesthetic VAK. It turns out that each of these VAK has qualities in more detail. Each representation has detail that can be recognized and managed. For the example, visual has the form, color, distance, dimensions, size, and so on. Auditory has tempo, stereo mono, duration, and so on. Kinesthetic has the location, hot cold, hard soft, intensity, and so on. The specific details of these representational systems referred as submodality. Some submodalities are binary, two options, such as disassociated, associated, colored or black and white, moving or stay still, and so on. These submodalities are referred as digital, while the others that have a range or nuance, such as brightness. Imagine we have a remote which can change its brightness to be brighter or dimmer. These are analog submodalities. In NLP, we learn how to change the submodalities of an experience or event. Why we need to change it? If you try to imagine your lover's face, it has certain submodalities. For the example, it generally bright, moving, colorful, sense of fun, and so on. However, one day you found out that she is two-timing. Then you try to imagine your lover face again, but this time the submodalities have changed. The picture has moved to the left, the color become faded, and the painful feelings. Furthermore, when you've been able to forget your lover, this time the submodalities also have changed significantly. The picture becomes black and white, far away, do not move, and feels cold. The originator of NLP found it and studied it seriously, and finally concluded that this applies vice versa. If the submodality is changed or modified, it is possible that the emotional responses that arise would be different. If we intentionally change the submodalities of our experiences, this also will change the meaning of the experiences. As the result, our emotions and feelings will change as well. Remember when I said if we need to change the past in order to change the future? And what we need to change is the meaning of past experiences. We can use this NLP technique to do that. Submodality became the basic of many NLP techniques, especially those that dealing with the changing structure of the memory. For phobia cure, trauma therapy, change bad habits, change belief system, etc. Submodality exercise. You might want to experiment with your own submodality. Start with a simple experience. What you need is to master the method first. After that you can start with more important experiments, such as changing belief. First, prepare a pen and paper. You must have an unpleasant experience in the past. Now, can you remember the experience as if it repeated again? Try to recall the experience clearly, and at the same time try to elicit the submodalities. You don't need to answer it all. Only answer what you feel or experienced. 1. Is there a picture? If no, go to question number 2. If yes, Please answer the following questions. Is it in color or is it black and white? Is it near or far? Is the picture bright or dim? Where is it in space? Point to the picture. Is the picture big or small? Are you looking with your own eyes associated or you see yourself in the picture disassociated? Is the picture in sharp focused or is it blurred? Does the picture have a border around it, or is it panoramic? Is the picture still or is it a movie? If it is a movie, how fast is it running? Is the picture in 3 dimensions or 2 dimensions? 2. Is there a sound? If no, go to question number 3. If yes, please answer the following questions. Where do you hear the sound? Is the sound inside your head or outside? Is the sound loud or soft? Is it fast or slow? Is the sound high or low pitched? Does the sound have a tune? Is the sound a whisper or clearly audible? Is the sound continuous or intermittent? Does the sound have a beat or a rhythm to it? 3. Is there any sensation in your body? If yes, please answer the following questions. Where is it in your body? Does the feeling have a size? Is it big or small? Does the feeling have a texture to it? Is it soft or rough? Is the feeling strong or weak? Can you feel the feeling in one place or is it moving around your body? Is the feeling warm or cold? 4. Note the results. Use the submodalities worksheet in the next few pages. Sometimes, every experience has all VAK elements. However, although the VAK are complete, not all the submodalities are complete. For the example, you could get only a few submodalities in visual, 1 in auditory, and 2 submodalities in kinesthetic or other combinations. These submodalities combination are the one that affect our state, affect our emotions, and affect our reactions, not the environment. The interesting thing about the submodality existence is by changing the element, it will change the meaning of the experience we have. Similar to the impressions of horror movie we watch, you can try to mute the sound, and certainly the horror effect in the movie will be reduced as well. How about you try it yourself? Try to change the submodalities of your unpleasant experience from the exercise you did before. Try to change it one by one. If the picture was in color, then try to change it into other color, or change it into black and white. If the picture was 3D, then try to change it into 2D. If the sound was loud, then try to change it into soft, or even mute it, and so on. Some submodalities make minimal or even no difference to an experience when they are changed. However, you will find out, while you trying to change one or several submodalities, it will affect the other submodalities. For the example, let's say you trying to change the brightness of a picture, not only it changed the qualities of the picture, but also the sounds and feelings experienced in conjunction with the picture change. This is what we call as critical submodality. Everyone has a different critical submodality, and one person can have a different critical submodality for a different kind of experiences. Change this critical submodalities associated with the experience will make the biggest difference to the way that we feel about it. For example, a compulsive chocolate eater might find one of his critical submodality is the image size of the chocolate. If he changes the image size of the picture becomes smaller, then his desire to eat chocolate will reduce. However, if he changes the image size of the picture become bigger, his desire to eat chocolate will increase drastically. So, if he wants to stop his compulsive eating habit, he can easily change the image size of chocolate become smaller and smaller in his mind. The next section is belief change script. You can use this script to change your limiting belief into empowering belief. However, before you jump to next section, there is one last exercise you need to do, and that is change an unpleasant experience to a pleasant or happy one. If you have done with the exercise I told you to do and noted some modalities, then the next step is to choose a happy experience and elicit the submodalities by using the questions I gave before. After that, replace submodalities of the unpleasant experience with those of the happy experience that you have chosen. For example, if in an unpleasant experience submodalities are blurred, distant and muffled, replace them with corresponding submodalities in the happy experience. If the preferred happy experience submodalities are colorful, bright, you can use them for replacement in the unpleasant experience. After the test it, what do you feel when you remember your unpleasant experience? If there is no change, then choose another happy experience and repeat the process. Submodality belief change script. Use the submodalities worksheet to help your precision and accuracy. 1. Can you think of a limiting belief about yourself that you wish you did not have? Good. What is it? As you think about that belief, Do you have a picture? Elicit the submodalities. Use column number 1. 2. Can you think of a belief which is no longer true? For example, perhaps you used to believe Superman is real. Do you have something like that which used to be true for you, but no longer is? Good. What is it? As you think about that old belief, do you have a picture? Where is that old belief now? Elicit the submodalities. Use column number 2. For best results, the location should be different. 3. Change the submodalities of number 1 into the submodalities of number 2. Test. Now, what do you think about that old belief? 4. Can you think of a belief which for you is absolutely true? Like, for example, the belief that the sun is rise from east. Do you believe that? Good. What is it? As you think about that belief, do you have a picture? Elicit the submodalities. Use column number 3. 5. Can you think of a belief that you want to have, which is the opposite of the belief in number 1? Good. What is it? As you think about that belief, do you have a picture? Elicit the submodalities. Use column number 4. 6. Change the submodalities of number 4 into the submodalities of number 3. Test. Now, what do you believe now? Why do you believe you have this new belief? Repeat it for a few times to get a maximal result. Submodalities worksheet. 6-step reframing. 6-step reframing is one of the most very powerful NLP techniques, although this technique has been considered as LD even by Richard Brandler. But I find this technique really works and will train your skills to communicate with your subconscious mind. This technique is called 6-step reframing. As the name suggests, it consists of 6 steps. If you have a behavior you want to change and seem to be outside of your control, then 6 steps of reframing is the right way to handle it. Also, this technique is quite powerful if you feel stuck in doing something you want to do, such as painter's block or writer's block. This technique would be optimal if you always practice to communicate with yourself. Here are the steps in the 6-step reframing. 1. Identify a belief you want to change. Let's call it belief X for now. 2. Establish communication with the part that generates belief you are holding it. Ask the following question of yourself. Will the part of me that generates belief X be willing to communicate with me in consciousness? And remain alert and detect any changes in body sensations, visual images or sounds which occur as a response to your question. Wait until it gives you the answer. If you often communicate with yourself, the answer will be in the form of words that do not need to interpret again. 3. Find the positive intention. Ask the part of yourself that hold belief X what the positive intent of such belief and listen to the answers given. 4. Create alternative beliefs to satisfy the positive intention. Ask your creative part in yourself to propose 3 new beliefs, empowering belief of course based on the positive intent conveyed in step 3. 5. Have the part evaluate these new choices. Are they acceptable? Propose these 3 new beliefs to the part of yourself that hold belief X. Ask it to choose one of them and replace belief X with it. If the part of you that hold belief X reject, return to step 4 to request new 3 beliefs. 6. Ecological check. Check the suitability of new belief with another part of yourself by asking, the whole part of me, is there any objections to new belief in achieving my outcome? If you do not have an objection, you can thank the whole part of yourself. But if there are objections, you have to repeat from step 4 until all parts of yourself you can accept the new belief. Congratulations, you have been trained how to clear your limiting belief into empowering belief. Or in other words, you have destroyed the mental block and have empowering belief in you in achieving your outcome. Install empowering beliefs with affirmations. But hey, didn't you say affirmations are not working? I didn't say that. What I said is that affirmations don't work if there are still any negative programs in your mind. If you have cleared or destroyed your limiting belief using one of the methods I taught you, it's time to install an empowering belief into your subconscious mind. We can do it by using affirmation. However, to make affirmation works, we need to know the factors that influence the effectiveness of affirmation. The first factor that influences the effectiveness of affirmations is the time when we write or read the affirmation. Oftentimes we are taught to write, read, or see our affirmations when you wake up in the morning or during the day. It turns out that this time does not match the working principle of mind. It turns out that are not the right time that can give the maximum effect. So, the question is, when is the most appropriate time to practice his affirmations? The most appropriate time is at hypnotic state or at night, 30 minutes before we go to sleep, when our brainwaves are dominant in the alpha or theta state. Also, we need to limit the affirmation that we write. Don't write more than 3 different affirmations. What happens when we write a lot of affirmations? The subconscious mind will be confused and will lose its focus to help you achieve your goals. When you have written affirmation, wait and see the effect. If within 2 weeks, there is no effect, then you need to rewrite your affirmations. Maybe the way you write or the word choice or the sentence structure used is not memorable for your subconscious mind. What if after you rewrite your affirmations several times but still no results? There's a part of you that rejects these suggestions or affirmations you did. So how do you overcome this? Stop and never do that affirmation for a few weeks. The more you eager to strengthen this affirmation, the stronger the rejection of your subconscious mind. Remember the one of the rules of mind I said before? When you are no longer forced to accept these affirmations into subconscious mind, the power of the subconscious mind that reject your affirmation also weakens. Sooner or later, the affirmation will actually go into the subconscious mind, and it will begin to be accepted and executed. Rejection arises because we tend to be forcing the subconscious mind to accept the affirmation. One more thing to note about affirmation is affirmation same like suggestion. Well, if we talking about suggestion, then we need to know what type of suggestibility are you. Wording or how to write affirmations for each type is not same. Regardless of what your affirmation, here are tips to optimize your affirmations. 1. Write the affirmation is more powerful than verbally say your affirmation. 2. Fulfill 3P condition, personal, positive sentence, and present tense. 3. Feel the positive emotions when writing your affirmations. 4. Write your affirmations 30 minutes before you go to bed. 5. Minimize the number of affirmations to get the effect. Make sure to write only 3 different kinds of affirmations. 6. Affirm for 21 days. 7. If after 21 days you do not feel any change, change the word or sentence your affirmation. 8. If still nothing changes after you change your affirmation after 2 times, then stop doing that affirmations. You may want to read more about affirmations in my book entitled Handbook of Affirmation. The quality of life depends on the quality of mind. Mind is the starting point for goals and dreams. The power of mind does not have limits over time, distance and space. Like the Plato says, the source of each behavior is thought. With the mind we can move forward or backward. With the mind we can be happy or miserable. Each apple seed has a potential to become a big apple tree and bear much fruit, but not all apple seeds end up being a big tree and bear much fruit. Same like a human, every human being was born with the potential to become a great man, a success, and a blessing to the world. But not many people can reach their full potential as it is. Humans continue to grow, in mind, body, emotions, and spiritual. You can see from the fruits produced in your lives. If in your lives, the fruit is a fruit that make your life from prosperous, then perhaps you have a limiting belief in yourself. When you realize your life is not getting better, it is time to change your beliefs. Change the limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. I sure you know that the quality of life depends on the quality of mind. Successful people have a success mindset, while the failed people have a failure mindset. In order to change our lives, instead of trying to change the outside factor, such as trying to change the job, change the business, change the environment, what you need to change is yourself first. It is much more effective to change the mindset life scenario, rather than deny it, and insist on decades of work or business, without first changing the mindset. It is just a waste of time and life, because almost no much use. Most people 95% running on a treadmill, do not go anywhere. To be able to have a large income, we only need to have the program already has a large income. As long as the program in our subconscious mind is still small income, then no matter how hard we try, we are still a small income. So, we are the one who need to be changed first, to be exact. Our mind. The mind needs to be upgraded so that it can produce a better quality of life. If your mind has not been upgraded, even though you have changed your action, it certainly will not produce anything, because you yourself would reject it. Mindset is heavily influenced by belief system. With the change of limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, then our actions would be different. With action and a different approach, then the results we achieve will be different as well. No one is actually destined to be a loser. You still can change your fate, being much more perfect, much better than you ever imagined. All human beings on earth could be like today because of our mind from yesterday. We will achieve something at tomorrow because of what we think today. If you want to succeed, learn the success it and think like successful people. If you want to be happy, learn the happiness and think like the happy people. About the author Benny Zhang. You can call him Ben. He has been very interested in the world of mind since he knew about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, in 2007. Since then, he started to learn and practiced all the knowledge he has about the technology of mind, especially about hypnosis and hypnotherapy that really makes him addictive. He believes that everyone has the right to achieve their dreams, and in fact that they have all the power and resources they need in order to achieve it. Because of that, he has a mission to make every person realize they have potential and teach them to use it effectively. Feel free to contact Benny Zhang at bennyzhang00@gmail.com.